Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stone Void Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Phillips, as always, joined with Don Bowie.
Hey.
Patrick Collins.
We're back, guys.
We're back after a winter break, ready to talk about some more Force of Will. Been gone about 2 weeks, and a ton of new things are out. One thing that caught us kind of by surprise is the Vingolf box is coming back, but it's not coming back with the little lowly girls or anything like that. It's actually going to be a anime series this time, and there's kind of a little bit of information that we have on that. Apparently, the last set was actually a video game over in Japan, which they had some promos to hand out for that. If you paid attention to the last time it came out, they had like an app thing for the game. And this time, it's a little bit of speculation. I know that you're the one who actually pointed this out to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had any extra information on it, what game or anything like it was for. Or...
I'm super excited. The Vingolf box was a little upsetting to me, mainly because it was all very scantily clad women, and that turned a lot of people off.
Yeah.
And
the borders were also terrible.
I actually almost didn't play the game because of the Vingolf box.
Yeah, that was something that I remember you saying when we first got into this. A lot of people really loved the art of Force of Will, really loved the anime art, and the little girls wasn't too turned off for most people, but there was a few people that we have good friends that haven't touched this game since that box came out, or even touched it because they came into it when that box came out. Even though it printed things like the Thunder and Stoning to Death in it, and a ton of key cards that people wanted, a lot of people didn't want to deal with all of the mainly useless female character cards that were inside there. The only real thing that came out there was the Rulers, which was Vlad and Alexandra.
The Stones.
Yeah.
And then there's a few...
Well, the reprints was a huge thing.
There's a few key cards. Rasputin, and then Hanzo's used in some decks.
Yeah.
And then they came with some rares. It came with Silence and...
Came with 2 of each dual stone.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious to see what reprints they're going to do for the next Vingolf box. Or if it's all going to be new stuff. I think this is kind of a way of like doing almost like a core set for Magic. Nice reprint, easy way to get stuff.
Well, from what I remember, they only reprinted spells. None of the resonators were reprinted, as far as I can remember.
All of those were definitely unique.
And then the stones were reprinted, of course. Yeah. But I would be weirded out if they honestly reprinted any of the stones that we've gotten from the new sets so far.
That could be a little bit odd because they wouldn't help out anything in the box.
Oh, hey, I got 2 fairy stones in my Vingolf box.
I wouldn't be mad if they reprinted the dual lands again.
Right, but they don't. So I think the point of the Vingolf box, as far as the spells go, is I bet you they probably want to do functional reprints that will be ready for New Frontiers, since they've really said that they want to focus on the new format and not... rotate out every 2 years with stuff. Mm-hmm. I bet you they're not going to put something in that's going to be fading out a year after it gets released. And I think it's going to be the release for it is going to be sometime in the spring, summer-ish after the...
It's after the last set
comes out for
the Alice cluster.
So it's in between the clusters set, and it's really just to kind of tide us over until the next one comes out, and it is tournament legal only for the next 2 years after that, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be an anime.
Yeah, this one's going to be an anime.
Like
any anime.
Is it one?
Yeah.
Apparently it's an anime that
plethora?
we will know. No, I think it's just one anime. So it'll have characters focused on one
That's
anime.
kind of weird. Like, it reminds me of Weichschwartz.
It kind of reminds me of that. So I think the way we heard this information from was the hoodie guy. He was talking about it on a Q&A that he does, and he was like, it could be like it was going to be a popular anime that's currently out.
It's going to be a well-known anime. Probably an anime I haven't seen, but maybe one that you guys have probably heard of.
I don't like any of the popular animes.
But you probably have heard of it, though. I'm assuming you will have heard of this anime that's
it could be like Hatsune Miku, or I just butchered that name.
Hatsune Miku?
There we go. Or something like that. It could probably...
Whatever it is, it's going to have a lot of characters in this anime.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're naming animes with only like 2 mainstream characters, but it's probably going to be like a Naruto-ish kind of, where there's a lot of like characters that you follow.
That would be
That's
kind of
true.
sad if it was like Naruto.
I don't think it's.
Or, like,
I don't think it's gonna be
Sword Art.
Naruto, and I don't
Or,
think
like-
it's gonna be Dragon Ball Z. I'm just guessing.
They
right
already have
now.
a cartoon.
He was actually talking about. He was like, Dragon Ball Z has seen crossovers in several different games and whatnot. I don't think he would actively say it on that stream to even let people even hint at it. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be something new and relevant, and it's interesting to see also. Maybe we might get some different dual stones coming up, because if it does come out after the next two sets, maybe the next two sets actually have something relevant
What,
that could be.
I'm sorry. What's a different dual stone?
Like another way for tapping for 2 different mana or things like that. That
Another
could be
way.
something
Like
different.
it has
from what
like
we
a
have.
tap
Like
ability,
Magic.
but
It
it
comes
also
into
play tap unless you have a reveal red resonator,
Yes.
black resonator,
you know,
something like
a
that.
new take
Interesting.
on dual stones.
Yeah.
Essentially, is what I'm
Okay.
getting at. Getting away from the ones that we already have.
But they reprinted the dual stones. So if what you're saying is true, they're probably going to make some new stones in either this next Alice cluster set or the one after.
It's possible.
Yeah,
is
it's
all I'm
I
saying.
guess yeah. New stones.
And the new set that's coming out next is actually the Moonlit Savior, I believe is the way that I'm saying that, which we got kind of flooded with a bunch of artwork throughout the past, 2-3 weeks that we've been
2
off
3
for
weeks.
vacation, slacking off, but ton of good stuff that came out of those weeks. We did get a comment about we were talking about that progenitor art, and now that we know a lot more about the wizard guy,
Time Wizard.
yeah, the time wizard guy, it probably the guy that was commented was like, those robes are completely different, and the more I look at it, I kind of have to agree with them.
They definitely are.
Yeah. No,
I wasn't here to battle you guys on that, but yeah, they're definitely different. The little kid and the
Shadow?
Yeah.
Oh.
little kid
The
that's
Shadow
on that
Predator
like
and
poster, and then the Time Wizard, and then I think Jordan, the hoodie guy, I think he said that the progenitor hasn't been shown yet, so we don't know who the little kid is.
Right.
But the Time Wizard is definitely that Time Wizard art that you guys were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have no idea who the little kid is. He might be one of the 12 apostles. Maybe like the gnarliest of the 12 apostles. You know,
Right.
he's a little demon kid. I think he has horns.
That sounds pretty badass.
Yeah, and as far as we know, the 12 apostles are not meant to be a deck. It's very much they're
that
just
was
meant to be
revealed.
working with various other decks, which is kind of cool. I mean, they're cool top end support for some of them, and some of the 12 apostles are completely unplayable. In my opinion, that giant bird guy, I don't think he's ever
Ziz?
been Ziz.
Ziz.
Yeah, He's ever
There's a
gonna see
fun
play.
deck for him to be in, but not. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
a competitive deck. Yeah,
Yeah, although I would love to see the red.
the Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix do something.
Yeah, right now it's just Autumn Brawley, right? Who's
Yeah,
seeing play?
Autumn Brawley's basically the one that's doing a lot of work. The big green one from the past set and the set before this one is another one that I see played sometime. And
What about Leviathan?
yeah,
He's
what
gonna-
about Leviathan?
He's gonna show his face. Blue is getting stronger, and the next set will be released before the next tournament. So if Blue kicks it up a notch, he's gonna be seeing play.
Well, what about the next tournament that we're going to?
He probably won't see any play.
No, because
But the smoothie bet is based on to the mega tournament, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Until
So
the
we still
Worlds.
have time.
We still definitely have time for you to drink your words.
I guess.
Speaking about the tournaments, there's actually a lot of decks that have come out. Most of them being Reflect and Refrain decks.
Yep.
I think I saw a Dark Alice deck that was doing somewhat decent.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet.
It was, yeah. I can't really remember what decks came out of the ARG too much.
I think it was a lot of Guibers, like a lot of Guibers.
Yeah, definitely. The also the red decks are really huge. The Hera, I believe is her name, the one that is 1 red, 1 blue, and you can remove a counter to. It's not Hera. She gains swiftness, target attack, and flying. Was kind of a breakout card of the ARG.
That card's
tournaments.
seeing play?
It's seeing a ton of play. The person who took second actually has a video out that was really good to listen to, where he was like, it's essentially a second Lancelot,
Yeah.
And the only thing better than 4 Lancelots is 8 Lancelots. And sometimes that she is better than Lancelot because of the target attack.
And first, right. She has swiftness.
Swiftness, target attack, and flying.
And
the flying makes sure that you get damage in.
Yeah.
So it's basically playing 8 Lancelots, and it makes that deck over the top powerful, and just allowed them to just run in and just knock out a ton of things.
Mm-hmm.
Gerda?
The name's
Gerda?
Gerda's the name. There we go. I couldn't for the life of me
red,
remember.
blue.
Yeah,
dual
red,
color
blue,
one.
dual color one. And of course, it's being played with Refrain because where you're getting counters to remove from, you're removing it directly from the ruler. And that is kind of a powerhouse.
Yep.
The promo cards that they're giving out at those tournaments are that Lancelot promo.
Yeah, the really cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really old.
Knight art. It's I think it's supposed to be the art a portrait style face for the
Adam Reisner.
Yeah, is that,
Sorry if I got your name wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Adam Reisner. He's like one of the better American players around.
Did he win a tournament or something?
I think he got second. I don't really want to say too.
Yeah,
if I'm getting it wrong.
We totally pay attention to everything that goes on. Totally haven't been slacking off for the past 2 weeks.
Trying my best, but yeah, I think he got second in Worlds. If not, then he got first. So he's definitely one of the better players to watch out for.
So we have a new giant full art, and a lot of the tournaments are also coming with a full art Death Scythe. Yeah. You're either getting that in a Persia mat or the Percival and the Artemis Godbow and the Sylvia playmat is the other option that you got. And both of these are all these full arts, much like the promo arts that you get for your monthly tournaments at a local game store, don't have stamps on them. And is actually something that we kind of heard them talk about is the stamped hot stamps might not be on future full arts.
I think they might be on, from what it sounded Jordan was saying, is that they won't be as intrusive, like they won't take up so much space or so much of the card art. Maybe it'll be placed differently, but that's what it sounded like, is that that giant force of will on the left hand side of the card will probably not be the same as it used to be.
Yeah, I really like the stamp out in the upper right hand corner.
Okay, like a little stamp.
Yeah, I like that one up there.
Thing.
The giant force of will down the side, I always did feel was kind of overly stepping its area. It
overly
really
dramatic.
A ton of art. Yeah. So I'm not really the biggest fan of that one. However, if you're over in Japan, and I may have read the Japanese article wrong, but they got really cool promos in a see-through, it's like a plastic type material ruler card for 4th to 8th place, and then 1st to 3rd they had a gold card with Dark Alice on it.
That's cool.
Which looked really, really, really
that sounds
cool.
Crazy.
Is it like front and back Dark Alice, or is it just like
the back?
Is it just one side?
It's both sides. It's actually a tournament legal playing card. I'm actually trying to pull it up for you so that you guys can see it, since I didn't actually get to show you guys earlier. And you guys, as always, can see it in the right-hand side, right over there for you. So, for a quick reference for you, this is the acrylic.
Cool.
And this is the gold stamped ones.
Cool.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So, my Japanese is terrible. I can't pronounce it, as you all noticed, but my reading is just as bad. As far as I can tell, it says it is real gold, and it is not. It doesn't say it's
Gold
plated or anything else, or just gold colored. I have no idea how true that is. All I saw on English stuff was just everybody plastering that photo everywhere. So who knows what it is? And even if it's not, I mean, the Uber or metal or whatever you want to call them, rares that we got in boxes are going for about $200 each. I can only imagine what these will go for if they ever end up getting on.
Only 3 were distributed?
For this
There's
tournament.
3 in the world.
As far as we know, there's only 3 open to public.
The Opens series tournament does look to be 1 out of 9, so maybe there's 9 other tournaments where
they might get But it might not be Dark Alice again. It might be
True.
a Reflect,
It
and
could
there
be
might be a Sylvia. There might be a
and
So
then
on and
go
so
back
on.
to it could be a lot of things. They're really, really cool. I would love to get my hands on one, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're coming to the States anytime soon, as far as we can
You
tell.
can trade your whole collection again for one of them.
Wait, what? Who would do that? I'm not even going to respond to that. I got sidetracked. His call could be there. The only other thing that I know for promos that we will be getting, hopefully within the next, the PowerPoint reward card things.
Okay, yeah.
Scratch and sniffs that nobody can scratch and sniffs. Doesn't matter because I can't actually smell anything, so who knows if it actually is scented.
Looks like the back of the card.
Yes. I don't have a sense of smell, though.
Okay.
They said that they're going to be distributing 10 promos to the VIPs. 8
they
promos
actually
to
numbered it?
They didn't number who is a VIP, who is rank 1,
that's
rank
right,
2,
but
rank
they
3.
did- yeah, they
but
did
they
say
did
the
give
number.
us quantities to them all, which I think we covered once before in an older podcast, so we kind of knew that information already. But at least we have confirmation that they are going to be doing it soon.
How are they going to give us those promos?
I imagine they're going to mail them to us, and
How did they get our addresses? Did you guys put your address into that Force of Will?
I didn't, and I am
Then-
number 6 in the world.
Yeah, I didn't, and I'm like 1,164 in the world. So obviously I'm in the top 1 percentile.
I didn't
Yeah.
do anything. Yeah.
No, it's definitely. I'm still curious. They said that there's still a lot of stuff to be announced for it, but the fact that they're actually talking about it now is kind of nice.
Yeah, they're good.
I would love to see
There's a
what promos we
date,
got.
actually, right, that they're going to distribute, or maybe distribute the prizes? I thought it was like
distribute
July.
information.
Oh,
yeah,
July?
Yes,
That late?
sometime in like
Okay.
July.
Oh, this is so long.
I know, it's just goes over and over and over about whenever that's going to be. The other thing that they did say that is going to be coming out probably before then in like the next 2 months, and this is again from Jordan the Hoodie guy, and that is the tabletop RPG game for Force of Will in the Force of Will universe.
Oh, I thought he said 2 weeks.
Did he say 2 weeks? I thought he said 2 months.
He might have said 2 months.
Once again, we should probably pay attention. You get all the information here first on Stone of Void.
Yeah.
No, so it actually seems really interesting that he would put that much effort into a tabletop game. I'm personally love playing D&D, and you
Yes,
actually...
it's a D&D style game.
Yes.
Yes.
Tabletop
D&D,
role-playing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be exactly like D&D. He said something about using a D6 system or something like that.
Yeah, only D6s.
Which is really interesting. Either which way, I'm really interested for it. You actually play in one of my D&D campaigns,
Yes.
and I don't know if you've ever actually... Do you play D&D?
I dabble in it. I haven't
dabble?
really gotten a full campaign done, but I have gone through the motions.
The most interesting thing about it, as far as we're concerned, is I'm actually, no matter how embarrassing it is, we are definitely going to humiliate ourselves on camera for you guys and play the tabletop RPG Force of Will game when it does come out, which you guys can watch here on the channel as soon as it releases, and we might actually try to stream it so you can see us in all of our ridiculous role-playing fashion.
Don will be a fairy.
Yes.
Dress up as a fairy.
Yes.
Round
Oh
one.
yeah, full
You're
costume for you.
cosplaying as a fairy.
Every time?
Yeah.
Every time.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you got to do it, dude.
Outside of that, he didn't really mention too much else about the actual game other than that he has been working on it. And
I thought he revealed some of the classes, right? Or the types of characters you could be?
I believe he talked about you could be one of like the minions of I forgot her name, the
Valentina?
Valentina, yes.
Okay.
And there was those type of alignments, and you'd be playing through the Seven Kings of Land
Yeah.
campaign.
So it only takes place in
I
that
see.
In that
continent,
one.
the 7 kings of the lands. And
Can
apparently...
you only be evil?
No, there's a lot of choices to
Yeah,
pick.
I
apparently.
imagine he's done a lot of different, all the different
You can be a
good,
mechanist, one of Mechana's
I see.
mechanical people
I
who
see.
makes robots or something like that.
But it can't be like one of the badass big guys.
What do you mean?
Like,
But just straight up Mary Bell Giant. As
Yeah.
all
No, I
can be.
don't. You can maybe make
Uh,
one.
I roll all the d6s and just flatten the world. No. Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what he's doing. I think he said that the main book for it and the splat books or the campaign books for it, I think he's releasing it for free. Is what I
Yeah,
said.
so he's gonna make it downloadable for free, and that's why he wants the D6s to make it cheaper for all of us. So
Yeah.
at first, it's not gonna cost us anything, and then we're gonna like beta test it for
Yeah.
him, and if we catch anything wrong, we can tell him like, hey, we don't really like this, or maybe we need more than just D6s. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like that.
It's definitely cool that they're willing to do stuff like this and support him in that company to put out something like that as a product. Since he says he's working on it at work, like that's really cool that Force of Will is willing to do that. They seem to be really willing to branch out as much as possible and share all that content with us, as opposed to just being like, here, buy a lore book and read our story in comic books. And I don't know, it's
buy like 3 books and play this one game.
Well, I think he
Yeah.
wants to make this game like purchasable, like with minifigures and stuff eventually. But right now,
Oh, I would pay right away just for the heck of it. Like,
Yeah.
I would totally pick this up and add it to my list of things, even if it's just for idea stuff. I mean, well, then again, we are in a gaming store, and I kind of go crazy with that stuff in the first place. But I'd love to sell it here in my store. I mean, Force of Will has been picking up crazy here for us. It doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. And the starter decks that we have are basically out. Of the 60 that we bought during release, we've got 1 or 2 of each different people left. And I mean, we've just been flooring through product for Force of Will here. Which is really nice, despite the crazy amount of pressure for something to happen to Reflect and Refrain. A lot of people are still on the bandwagon of it's broken, you need to rat it, you need to fix it. And we, in all of our glory, said that it's not broken last time on the podcast, except for you. You weren't here to give in your 2 cents exactly if it was broken or not.
yeah, I mean, I have to say that it really pains me to say it, but I still don't think it's broken. Because I mean, Bahamut ruled for a long time.
Yep.
There's like the rulers that have been played the most. They were like the dominant force. Like, you know, there's still Dark Alice and like a well-propered Sylvia deck can at least take a game 1 off of Reflect and Refrain, maybe depending on how it goes, and then the Valentina is really strong if the other person's not prepared for it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I played with that deck, it almost always takes game 1. You know, obviously they have a sideboard for Valentina, but I mean, if someone's creative enough, like they can maybe steal a game 2. But Reflect and Refrain is by far the strongest. Like,
Yeah, it's
no
definitely
doubt
really
about it.
strong, but it comes in so many flavors and so many options. It may have been the ruler for the like 14 of the 16 last decks at a big tournament, but it comes in the variety of red aggressive. It comes in the variety of
It comes in whatever you want it to be.
more of a control style deck. It can be fairies. It can be so many decks and be so playable with all of those different varieties. I definitely still stand behind that it's not broken.
I still think some of the mechanics are pretty broken.
They are strong. I'll
I
give
mean,
that.
you got to think about it this way. Like, Reflect and Refrain gives you the chance to play almost any deck you want. Like, sure, like it's the same ruler every time, guys, but like you can play almost any deck you want. Like, Cthulhu's are so much stronger with Reflect and Refrain. You can play 3 slogs, Slog the giant,
Slog.
the 15/15, and be perfectly okay. Like, as much as I'd hate to say it, like I do not like to play with Reflect and Refrain.
Yeah,
I really want to
refused.
be on the same side as Don here, really, really badly. But hopefully the next set will change it.
Balance
I
it
know.
out a little bit
Yeah,
more.
hopefully.
Yeah, I think the reason why it's seen so much play is simply because it is exploitable with all colors and not just one. I think if it was stuck in just a green deck, we would see a lot less of it. However, within that green deck and the deck that I've been playing a lot with, just to see how broken a different part of the game is the Six Sages feasting deck, where I run all 8 of the feastings, which I've seen a lot of the over the seas European decks playing, and not too many here in the States. But the turn 2 feasting exploit, basically being able to give your elf at the end of your turn, after the end of turn checks, during the priority check after that, you can give it the untap and untap it, put a counter on your ruler at the end of that moment. Then it passes into your opponent's turn. If they don't respond to the elf, you're able to put another untap on it at the end of turn, and at the end of their actual turn, you get to tap it once for its mana, untap it for the first one during the end of your turn after the end of turn cycle, and then again so tap it again, do it again for your opponent's one, and then untap it. You get 3 mana from it. You drop a feasting. You then go onto your second turn or the third turn of the game with a 5/7. That is just kind of the best thing you can kind of do. At worst case scenario, it also taps for mana, so now you can drop a 4-drop on your turn
2.
And
on turn 2, you can drop a 4-drop.
Yeah, on turn 2. And that's if it's undisturbed. If they tried to kill it with like a thunder, you can just not give it an untap trigger and give it +2/+2. Of course, they'd probably be smart to do it after you tap for the mana first time, or in response to you giving it the untap
second,
step again. But even then, usually you have a change to the world in play, and you can just use the mana to then draw a card off of it. Like, you just go up so well off of that it's almost hard to come back against. It's not impossible. The deck that seems to do it best is the Dark Alice deck. Plays the best against it. Being able to make me sacrifice it and discard a card is probably the best play against it, because you lose all that momentum. You don't actually gain anything from your counters. I feel like that's the real way to play it against that deck. Outside of that, though, I feel what is broken right now is kind of Force of Will in general, in the fact of the at the end of turn step. They need to wipe all of the end of turn stuff at the beginning of your opponent's step, or get rid of that priority check that allows you to exploit the game. And I don't think Reflect Refrain actually is broken with that mechanic. I think it's showing us that we can exploit the game with cards in the future that way. And I don't want to see the game become completely unwound because of base rules.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the creators intentionally made that to happen, or it was just a mistake in mechanics?
I'm pretty sure that's completely there's nobody touching this right now. Even the big websites where we read a lot of stuff off of. Everybody in the world knows about Tavern at this point. They don't really talk about it much. It happened. Conversation in their comment section happened about it. Force of Will themselves haven't talked about it directly. All that Hoodie guy has said about it is the Refrain problem. And before that, he was talking about how, it's not broken, it's not broken.
I actually wanted to mention that,
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought that was hilarious. Just the one right before this last one, he was like, you know what, people make it the problem, the card's not the problem. And then this second video, it's he didn't even, that wasn't a thing. It's Reflected Refrain is a problem. It was I fought, the guys, I knew this ruler was too strong, and they didn't think it was that strong. Yeah. So it sounded like the people who created Reflect and Refrain didn't think that this card was that overpowered. So obviously there was some testing things that they just didn't find or exploit. From the sounds of what Jordan says, it doesn't sound like they have too many people who really play the game, who make the game.
It does sound like they're working with a very small staff. We know that they've upped the staff since then with the new translators, the hiring Jordan as well, and there's a lot of things that sound like they're going to be changing the game a lot here in the future. He said that he would fight to never get a zero-costed ability again or regalia again, which I think would help balance the game a lot in future sets, which would make everything that we're playing with now overpowered.
So we'll have overpowered cards for at least another year and a half.
Yes, for the new Frontier format. But who knows how they're actually going to implement that, how soon it's going to be implemented. I have a feeling that this entire cluster's already been pre-planned out and is just going, is in print cycles. And especially since next week, I believe we get the first set of spoilers for the new set. So definitely check back with us for that next week, because it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to be doing. Yeah. And if they're going to be directly trying to fix problems like this. I just personally hope that we don't see a errata before our tournament, because I really want to play Feasting.
There's like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I really doubt an errata is going to come out right before then.
That would just ruin so many people's decks and days. And
shuffle up Bahamut. No, those days are behind us. Luckily, don't bring Bahamut. But that's I really. You're definitely on the other side of that. Is there anything you want to say about what you think is or is not broken about Reflect and Refrain? I mean,
it's just that everything is free. You're getting 6 abilities on one ruler on both sides. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, how can you just do that for free and just say it's okay?
But the fact that it lets you play any deck, though, is kind of fun.
It lets you play every deck, but the ruler is pretty broken.
If everybody's... and this is kind of a terrible way to say this. It's if everybody gets that ability, is it broken? Because everybody has that ability. And yes, that means you have to play Refrain, but you get to play any deck on top of that.
The thing is, it's not like the same Bahamut deck 8 times. It's like 8 different Reflect and Refrain decks.
If everyone has like a Jason Mind Sculpture, is it fair?
I guess.
For people who don't know what Jason Mind Sculpture is, basically see a Reflect Refrain. I mean, no, that's not actually true. Jace is way worse than Reflect Refrain. It is a Planeswalker in Magic, which is a card similar to how rulers interact, especially Reflect Refrain, in the fact that you have counters that add to it and take away from it, except for it can die when it loses those counters, and that only matters for Magic. But what it does, it sends a card back to your opponent's hand. It can draw you a card, and it can... Nobody ever used those other abilities. Which is part of what Reflect Refrain is, except for arguably one of the best abilities currently on it is the untap ability, which is insane. And then the opposite end of being able to counter stuff, and it definitely has way more going for it.
But the untap ability is really strong right now because of the broken priority thing at the end step.
Yes.
Which is a broken part of the game.
Yes, but I don't think that's Refrain's fault.
It's not Refrain.
That's a design fault.
Okay, so if we fix that design...
then we open up probably a lot more decks, I think.
Really?
Still with Reflect and Refrain, though. That is true. It's hard to get away from Reflect and Refrain as a solid ruler, but you can do it. There is the Alice decks. There is Valentina. There are those things. I don't want to sound like too much of a broken record.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, I mean, hopefully next set corrects it. And if next set doesn't correct it, they'll probably errata Reflect and Refrain. That's probably what's going to happen. It sounds like they're trying to gear up to make it so Reflect and Refrain isn't so gnarly with the next set. But if that doesn't change, and I kind of have a feeling it's not going to change. I don't know where you guys are at. I think Reflect and Refrain is going to be strong. I don't see how cards will be able to interact with it. Unless they just make more powerful rulers, but
I would like to
type of denial. I mean, Barrier's doing a good job at
it's decent.
Maybe some tax for activated abilities of J rulers.
Yeah.
Or all activated abilities.
Yeah.
That might be kind of gross, but something like that.
Yeah. I don't think they want to hurt rulers as a whole splash thing, so it's definitely interesting to see that. They definitely did say that banning something is the last thing they'll do, so an errata does seem appropriate for it then.
I don't want Reflect Refrain to be banned. I mean, I love the card. I just think it's super strong, and everyone's
You gotta pick one,
it.
man.
I love it, but I hate it.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm kind of in the same boat with you, but I don't think I can say that it's broken.
No, definitely not. And that's about all that we really have. Just catching up with stuff this week. We'll have more for you guys next week when we just get back into the groove of stuff.
Yeah, we definitely missed stuff
Yeah,
So,
there's
I mean,
a lot
we'll
of stuff.
try to talk about that next
Definitely
time.
hit us up in the comments for any of that stuff that we may have possibly missed.
Yeah, if you want to talk about it.
We'll definitely try to respond to them during videos, especially next week. And so definitely just let us know down below.
Tell us what you think about Reflect and Refrain being broken or not.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's
guys.
just
Dark
honest
Alice could
truth.
board wipe. Be creative. Dark Alice could do things.
Sylvia untaps mana.
Yeah.
Fairy decks are good, but Reflect and Refrain's a better ruler, I guess, than Fairy Alice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who,
All right, guys.
Oh, yeah, Valentina.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. Once again, I was Jay Phillips, your host.
I'm
Patrick
Don Dewey.
Collins.
Oh.
Wait, let's all point at me, Patrick Collins. Yeah, that's right.
Don Bowie.
Hey.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
Have a good one, guys.
Okay, night.
Morning.